Top Hill Recording Podcast, episode 191. Tonight, our special guest, TVLO.
Must have been 15, and it told me I was the worst man you'd ever seen. We made an awful noise, packed up this big boy. In the college days, we had the party house, nights slip by in a haze. We rented all of the gear, we even paid for the beer. Jackie, I won't pretend I wasn't jealous of your hot supersonic girlfriend, but when she stole you away, all the rest of us stayed. We were the boys, from the island of misfit toys. Too good to lie, and it all went by so fast. One night after a show, Billy picked a fight, the whiskey made him slow. There was a knife, oh yeah, it took his life. So the two of us tried to find the magic that just like Billy had died. Jackie sent a card, times got really hard. We were the boys, from the island of misfit toys. Too good to last, and it all went by so fast. Nothing lasts forever, and it's probably for the best. 'Cause if the misfit boys ever made it big, there'd be no room for the rest. We were the boys, just a pack of misfit toys. Two world's best band. For an hourglass is grain of sand. We were the boys, from the island of misfit toys. Too good to last, and it all went by so fast. In the land of broken things, we rejoice at the sight of tattered, shattered wings. They still struggle for flight. Anger, love, and joy, and pity of a mixed up bag. Glass and nails and all the random shit that blurs together in the city. Oh no, oh yes, work more, get less, going uptown, neon. She's a drug that I wanna be on. She passed me on a chrome Vespa, ice blue hair, screaming like cerulean tentacles wrap around silver goggles. Now I'm shot from a cannon. the drug that I wanna be on. She passed me on a chrome Vespa, ice blue hair streaming like cerulean tentacles wrap around silver goggles. Now I'm dropped from a cannon, my rainbow wig and red rubber nose tumbled to her, leaving me exposed. On Vespa. 1, 2, 3. Hello, to please to see you in a little red number with the silk spaghetti straps that I bought for you when you broke your heart. You were all up in your dark little flat in those ugly flannel pajamas, angry fist clutching that ice cream spoon. I gathered you in my arms when you couldn't stop crying and broke the fire alarm. Hello, I'm so pleased to see you. I've been trying to reach you to have an open conversation about me and you. Hello, I'm so pleased to see you by this crackling fire underneath the stars. Fireflies and 3-chord guitars. I haven't seen you since that night outside of Rockies when you worked up the nerve to take a skateboard around Dead Man's Curve. I gathered you in my arms. Together we stumbled all the way back to the bar. Hello, I'm so pleased to see you. I've been trying to reach you to have an open conversation about me and you. I think I know what you'll say, but I think that we should try it anyway. It's all working up my nerves. You're my dead man's curve. Hello, I'm so pleased to see you in this little cafe out of the rain. Coffee's on me. How's your day? One, two, three, four. Together we plan to start this inside doing dirty work when you ask forgiveness. Stealing your daddy's truck in which to travel in search of our love. I expected the crooked life would leave its mark on a husband and wife, but the price it would extract left us somewhere less than intact. Remember how we cased the carnival tent, the hypnotist insisted that I represent the reluctant girl upon which his affections have settled. He made his sulphurous fire and broke out of my stained kettle. A silver scalpel broke my skin as the full moon rose. She held him in her arms, her smile eyes shining as he proposed. 2, 3, 4.
going, guys?
It's going great.
Make sure
Thanks for having us.
the mics and the drinks are up. There you go.
Check. Clink, clink.
Greg had
Check.
The whole time. Yeah, just hold them there.
You like Ricky Bobby?
Preferably this one.
I don't know. Let me see.
I'll drink to that.
See, I don't. Mine's right here, so I can just drink in. Oh man, I got to remember. My head gets real big when I say. Guys, welcome back.
Thank you.
It's so great to be back here, man.
Man, we just we got ourselves another little show in here, man.
It sounded great, fellas.
Holy crap.
Super good to
Appreciate it.
it's like see y'all and get to hear you play in here. Like I said, I listened to the EP. It sounds great, but you all sounded awesome. Like just great songs, great vocals. I say every time, I just love backing vocals, and you all they're so tight, man. It's not easy to do that. So really good songs.
We definitely work at it, but
we love it. We've been singing together for probably about 13 or 14 years, and it's just an absolute joy.
You know, you can definitely tell and feel it when you guys are singing. It is just it's almost like a sibling harmony. You know, it's so locked in.
Yeah, big time.
It's gotten to the point for me where I get distracted really easily by anything because I'm not a pro, and so any little thing will throw me off.
Say that.
I mean, I'm not. It's demonstrably true. I don't make my living doing this, but I don't get distracted by anything he does anymore. It's like we're tethered.
Yeah.
And even if he does something different, instead of throwing me off, it's like, oh, okay, and I can react to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes a while to get to, maybe for anybody, but if you're easily distracted, maybe even longer, But we've happily arrived at that point where I feel like he's glued to the melody, and it's a rare privilege to get to sing with people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it sounds great. Like you all, like it's super tight. I love just hearing it and getting to see it like in person is really, really neat. So,
well, and it enhances. When you said the word earlier, because now we're doing the songs pre-talk. You mentioned the word quirky, and it's just it's so to have somebody that can lock in with your harmonies and just. Like I said, man, create that energy that between you that it makes you dig your ears in harder to kind of listen to what's going on. It doesn't force you to listen; it makes you listen.
It makes you want to listen. Yeah.
There's this thing about singers, when you're watching somebody perform a song with vocals, you, as a human, since you do speak and since you do sing, that's always sort of your point of focus. We talk about that a lot, and obviously the harmonies are a huge focus of the music that we make together. The joy to be able to sing together the way we can now after so many years is it's glorious. Yeah.
I think people respond to the harmonies particularly. I wouldn't even call it an enhancement. I feel like you could do away with almost any other aspect, of any modern music rendition. And as long as you've got good vocals, that's what people are listening for.
Yeah.
They want to hear harmonies that draws them in, stops them in their tracks. If there's a story, great. Or if it's not a story, if it's some meaning that they can get out of those vocals, now you've really set the hook.
Yeah.
And people find it, I think I find it really easy. And I love music, and I find it really easy to just walk on by whatever's going on. And it's the vocals that reach out and grab me and drag me into it. And then I start absorbing the meaning of whatever they're singing. So I feel like if you don't focus on that point of induction for the listener, you might miss them.
Yeah. I don't know if enough songwriters think about that, or hear that part as they're writing. I don't know if necessarily you do, or if maybe when you hear him sing a song and bring it to you, you're already nailing the part because you're so drawn in 13 years of playing together.
Yeah, I never make any mistakes.
I know.
He has a song,
flawless.
I get it perfectly the
him.
first. Yeah.
That's what Dan said about you. He's like, you know what? Otherwise,
when I'm writing. So we were chatting a little earlier. I grew up singing barbershop music and church choir and then school choir. So I had all the training one could ask for and applied myself to it because I really enjoyed it. So if I'm writing something I'm hearing, I wake up in the morning sometime and am just stunned by the sudden silence because it's like there's this, cacophony of shit going on in my head all night long. It's almost exhausting some nights. And it's the latest song, whatever it is. I'm hearing strings or vocals or whatever. So all that's in there. And I got the training to create and hear the harmonies. But when I was younger, I don't think I understood the value that I was just yakking about a minute ago about how to create that point of induction for a listener and draw them in. I was listening to the way the kick and the bass lock together and just hit you in the chest, or the guitar power chord goes bam, I liked all that really well, and I still do. But so it was actually harder for me as a songwriter to kind of let that go and say, that's dressing.
Yeah.
Right? The meat and potatoes is underneath it, and it's got to be the song.
Totally.
And the vocals. And, I was also talking about working in Nashville for a few years and just talking to everybody who's a janitor or a dishwasher is a better musician than I'll ever be. But I also got to meet some stars and chat with people, and they all said the same thing. And I was like, okay, now they're drilling it into my head. So that's the important thing to me that I focus on now that I don't know if I did as a writer or performer when I was younger.
Yeah, I mean, there's this aspect of when you hear a song for the first time, frequently you don't really pay attention to the story, but Dan, as a writer, pays attention to the story, really intentionally and specifically, and crafts it, and, not only just the meaning of the story, and it may be prompted by a word or a thought or some, element of physics or whatever was his prompt. It can be kind of
somebody else's song I'm ripping off.
It's that a lot, by the way.
Yeah, because your stuff sounds like everybody else's.
Well, I'm not very good at ripping off other songs.
Well, anyway, what's so wild is that even though he grinds at all of that stuff, frequently I have to remind him, nobody has any idea what the words are.
Yeah.
And really what they want to hear is this element of our voices and that spark. So this kind of comes back and forth. And then what's really funny, we had a friend of ours was at one of our shows, and they brought up these very specific components of a number of songs, and it was the first time they'd ever seen us. And Dan,
she's probably a genius
on cloud nine. She's like, well, she understood all of it.
Yeah,
she brought up this point and this point and this point. And it was great. It was like
she's an outlier for sure. She's brilliant. But also I will say he said that to me many times, and it is a good reminder, and I take it as a challenge though, because now like that last one we did, Kettle, that's a more recent one. So, when I'm like in the middle of the night or whenever trying to wordsmith that one line of the song, and I'm thinking, should I really say, the hypnotist's dripping knife deftly detached his big toe?
You should definitely say that.
Pretty fucking weird, right? But I'm like, well, people will hear that, especially if I stop playing and I just sing it out, and we kind of do it in this beautiful harmony, and it's almost a cappella. And if you weren't listening to the story then, you probably are going to start. So some of the quirkiness of these lyrics is in a direct response to how can I make the story reach out and grab you, not just the sound of the harmonies, but take you to bring you into the song, because we like them or we wouldn't be able to do them a billion times like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that development, I'm forgetting the word, the sort of, the creation of the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs, and there's a word for that.
Dynamics.
The dynamics, that's the word. The sort of complexity of our dynamics has evolved over the years that we've been playing together and singing together also, and it's become a lot more intentional. And those, two of those songs that we did tonight are sort of, out there, Vespa, all this kind of pyrotechnic, harmonies, and then Kettle, that last one has some elements of that as well. And we really sort of get excited about those.
Yeah, we
when
nerd
those
out
come
on it.
out,
Yeah.
we're like, ooh, yes.
And part of the joy of that too is that having all that time and experience with each other, it's intentional, but it's not always spoken. There's all kinds, and I know every musician feels this. It's part of the joy of playing with other people instead of holding up in your basement alone. Is when you do something different that one time, and your musical partners look at you and I see what you did there, and you never talk about it because the moment's gone. But the next 5 times you play it, everybody's kind of working it into the song, and you can't just get that. You can't just go put that together with people. You gotta put in the time, and so that joy of every Thursday night for 3 or 4 years now. Well, 13 or 14 for you and me, but with great intensity around this catalog of songs, it pays off in a lot of cool ways.
Yeah.
It's a very satisfying.
I mean, I could imagine having that much of a connection will lead you to places that you couldn't go on your own as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just bouncing that off each other is such a value that, we've talked about continuing to, especially myself, continuing to learn that it's skill. It's a skill set to be able to co-write and build that trust to where you have those moments. You just look at each other and you go, all right, I trust you with that. We'll come back and see if it happens again next week. And then you build those dynamics and those things and allow it to go where it wants to go instead of just take over so much.
100 times, yes.
Killer.
And it's interesting you put it that way. For me, that skill set, like most of my skills are, I'm the dude who refused to graduate college. I'm the dude who joined the Navy, and I didn't wash out, but I refused to advance. I didn't want to play the game. And it's like, I'm always got to DIY everything. I can never learn anything from anybody. So I have to do it all the hard way. And so that learning how to perform with somebody is, I got there by trying to do it all myself. For about 20 years, I nerded out on microphones and mic preamps and compressors and EQs, and I built my studio. And I was gonna be like Beck and do it all. And I produced.
So glad he's not.
Me too. I produced a lot of very tight, perfectly on the grid demos that sounded really like a whole lot of Dan and nothing else.
Yeah.
And it was. Even people who like what I do are like, yeah, you need some other people in there, man. You know, it all just sounds like you.
It's crazy to hear you say it like that, though, because from my perspective, you do all of those things DIY or, learn it yourself. It seems effortless because you get to such this incredible high quality of it all. But whatever you're doing, I'm going to buy a kit to make a fucking preamp. Yeah, I know how to solder. And then we have this beautiful preamp. Or, yeah, I set up guitars. Give me your guitar. My kids are in this band, Anemic Royalty. Oh, yeah. Not shameless plug at fucking all.
Should not be shameless.
Proud fucking
amazing. Amazing.
Proud parent, proud plug.
But, so he's like the de facto guitar tech for Anemic Royalty. They need a setup. They need a fix. They bring but he'll do that. And out of complete joy, the little shitty shop that's next to his incredible cave studio, it's a disaster in there, but he can put a guitar in there and fix it all up.
I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's the way you think it is. When you refuse to graduate college or advance yourself in any way, you become very, very cheap. Cheap. So I do all my own guitar work and build whatever equipment I can figure out how to build or do anything because I can't afford to pay someone else. So I'm like, by God, I will learn how to do it.
Yeah, but it's just, to me, I'm in awe of your capabilities.
Thank you.
And to watch you pick up something brand new and just be able to do it is incredible. And so
part of that's just getting old. You get old, you start to get it halfway okay at a few things.
Just time, huh?
Yeah, time served.
Yeah, time and pressure, like Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. Well, thanks for saying that, man.
Hey, man, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell you all are like good buddies, and it's just like everything about like you're great performers, by the way, too. I love seeing that. Like, it just looks like you all have a lot of fun, and that's just cool to see. Besides all like the great other parts that we've already talked about, just watching you all perform, even if I wasn't listening at all, just to see you all perform, you can tell you're just having a great time, and you can tell it's something special. It's really, really neat.
Yeah, I think we've kind of hit on it, but I wrote all kinds of stuff when you guys were playing back there, and a connectivity, just a musical connectivity that you could tell is not built just on music, and you guys have kind of
it's friendship. You can see it, like you can just see it. Like I feel like in your faces.
That's great to hear.
Well, it's total trust, man. Like that is not taken lightly in the music community at all. That
not at all.
You look at the great bands playing around town, like you mentioned one earlier, Hot Brown Smackdown.
Yeah.
Just so many Tyler Lance Walker Gill and those guys. I mean, you guys, which you had as band last time, so that kind of is a cheat code.
Yeah, it's
still
a smart move is what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different thing. It's more than just a musical connectivity. You can tell that trust, and that I guys keep going back to it, trust, and then the believing in each other to do the right thing, to not play the wrong thing, not even not play the wrong thing, but don't overplay, don't do that thing, and build that relationship, man. It's just it's I love seeing it, and I think it's hard to find, so when I do see it, it's special to me. That connectivity is cool.
It takes faith and commitment. When we got serious about the current crop of songs and doing what we're doing now, I shudder. I record everything. It's like I said, I built a whole studio and it doesn't always sound good. Now it sounds pretty good because we've done it 52 Thursdays a year for year after every week I'm recording and I'm tweaking it all. Now it's actually sounding pretty good. But those early recordings, in addition to being terrible recordings, I was like, how did these guys ever have the patience to slog through what my caterwauling and playing it wrong and hadn't even finished the song or whatever. And so I'm so grateful for that. And that connection supports you. I'm just at the point where I'm starting to have limited number of technical fouls, if you will, because I'll constantly forget my own lyrics. Any little thing will distract me and I'll blow a chord or forget a line.
It's not like you have a bunch of words in those songs or anything.
They're pretty wordy. But I'm just now, you guys caught me at this moment where I'm just kind of teetering on the edge of being able to actually play all my material without screwing it up and not even getting to the nuances of dynamics and other things that I hope to get to later once I can get past just fucking it up, So having somebody who's got your back, if I start to forget a line, I hear that split second start of him coming in on the harmony. It reminds me, and I'm like, he had my back again. So there's a whole lot of trust and faith and commitment to it.
What type of safety net is that for you? I mean, do you all rely on each other for that, or are you more reliable on Gregg for that? I mean, how's that feel?
Yeah, he relies on me for that.
I do.
That's exactly right.
Did you see that setup I gave you? Softball toss right to you.
Yeah.
Man. So I was when I was back there also thinking about the music, because the one thing about you guys is, and Earl, I think you can definitely back me up, Spencer, everybody in this room. You don't sound like anything else. There's nothing out there that I can go, well, this is kind of what they sound like.
I was thinking the same thing, and I was going to ask what your all's influences were, or if you had tight influences kind of, or if it's just broad. What do you like to listen to?
You say, I never understand how you do what you do on bass. It's different from anything I would do, which is why it works, I think. But
yeah, I mean, our musical tastes are pretty eclectic and all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that somehow that ends up into whatever it is we're doing. But we don't have an intentional, let's sound like this or let's sound like that.
No.
Of course
that's
not.
obvious.
Very obvious.
Very
obvious. I mean, not in a bad way, in a good way, but very obvious that
so
you're not
Dan,
trying to
is very focused on the craft of the story frequently, and then really intentional about whatever's happening musically as well. And I think that, the story happens a lot, but from phrases, and it's a joy. I don't write any of the songs for this band, which is so great. So I don't have to worry about that at all. Yeah, which is lovely. And I get to come in and sometimes, Dan will bring a new song, and I'll get to answering your question in a second. But Dan will bring in a song and I'll listen to it, and there's complete trust. There's blunt truth. I'll just tell them exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah. And maybe there's some tweaks. Maybe it's just fine or whatever it is. And then we'll get down
or
to
sometimes
the work
I can tell you clearly don't really like it. And I trust your ears, and I'll go back and listen to it fresh and be like, yeah, that one's not up to snuff.
Sure. But when we are doing it, I'll be like, this is, you can drop this out, or you're using whatever the heck it is. Little teeny tiny notes or whatever it might be. And then we get to it and there's no issue with that.
I just fold him in whatever he suggests because he's got great ears and great taste.
But the what ends up coming out has a lot to do with the importance of the song as we're doing it. So it's sort of we've clearly learned how to sing together nicely, and we don't just do parallel thirds all the time. It's all kinds of weird shit that we'll do vocally, but I also don't play the bass. I'm not on the bass drum. Yeah. I'm not hitting the
totally.
I'm just the
well,
tonic.
You are, but it's unpredictable, which is what I love about it. It creates this kind of funky, shifty beat that's just unique.
Yeah, I mean, even here without the drums, there is just this groove that
he'll come in one full beat late about 20% of the time, and never in the place where I would expect it, and it's just
it's awesome.
That's just one of many quirks about his playing that I love.
It's more of a melodic thing. So that's what's in my mind, because mostly I'm a singer. I play.
So you're hearing
guitar.
A melody or counter melody.
Yeah, so I'm hearing melody or harmony. Yeah. And I think that's why I play the bass the way I do.
That's interesting.
Very
and
neat.
He's got specific songs. Not always. A lot of times he's playing around the roots. and doing rhythmic stuff, but he's still, doing some roots and fills like a bass player will frequently do. But he is absolutely the bass player who will find in amazing spots that counter melody that when you're humming the song later, you might not realize it, but you might be humming the bass line because it's such a powerful counter melody that it's the hook.
Okay.
And and I don't think every band needs that in every song. You know what I mean?
I don't think every band can do that in every song and make
nor
it,
should
make
they.
it,
I guess is what I'm saying. But the fact that he kind of hits a sweet spot about
This is empty.
A chord. Yeah, mine too. Can I have
got you,
more
guys.
of
Here
that
you go.
amazing?
How about some Elijah Craig? Because it's the only thing in this room.
Yes,
Very good.
It's the only thing I need. Did we lose all the cubes?
Brent, will you hand me some cubes through the thing?
I'm fine.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm starting to feel like really good, so I want everything to be perfect. So I need my cubes.
Yeah. What just happened?
Cubes, gentlemen.
Thank you,
Cubes
sir.
came through the black
Absolutely
curtain.
Yes, black curtain of cube. Okay.
Here it is.
Just you can edit all this shit out. Sorry about
We're keeping it all.
that. Yeah. So we were talking about bass and
And our
melody.
influences.
And influences.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, get back to your influences because I got
So-
another bass question.
So I mean, we're both deadheads. I don't think that that's obvious in the music that we play, but if you're a deadhead, maybe you can see some of it. I don't know. Obviously, there's not a lot of jamming going on. Mostly, we write our parts and learn how to play them really well. We certainly write our harmonies and learn how to play them as best as we can. And, Dan will talk about the Beatles and McCartney and.
McCartney's a big influence as a songwriter on me.
And people have said all kinds of weird things about us, so I'm not even going to bother repeating that because I'm curious as to what people come up with. But
I got something that I came up with.
Sure.
Brent, you might like this one, buddy. Ben Folds meets Tenacious D.
Ooh, that's a
Because
deadly
really funny.
combo.
Yeah, dude, 'cause
Yes.
not with lyrics, just musically, and like phrasing wise, because it's so interesting. Like Ben Folds is all over the place with his piano and his melody writing, and Ben Folds 5 with the harmonies, and Tenacious D with the harmonies. But there's a lot of chords in some of that you just don't expect, and that's what I love about your writing, Dan. Is just your choices and your chord progressions are so interesting to me. It does have that McCartney-esque type of feel on some of it, but it's just everything is so well thought out, and not even including the dynamics. If you just went completely with the same dynamic through every song, but had the chord changes, they would still be interesting. So add all the other stuff.
Yeah,
It's just
chord changes. I was something I meant to note down too. The changes are awesome because I feel like you hear something, you're like, oh, I know where it's going, and and then it just takes a turn. You're like, okay, like
There's a lot of songcraft that I do not know and have deliberately avoided because I feel like I would start writing songs the right way.
inside a box.
Yeah. And it's like we play with some other musicians occasionally. It'll be like, "Oh, you're going to the 2 there. I didn't expect that there." And I'm like,
2?
"Well, I'm glad I don't know what the fuck you just said." And I kind of do. I watch all the
but
videos.
yeah.
I'm a DIY guy, so I have a fair amount of theory actually, but songwriting craft is an implementation of theory that is its own entire body of knowledge that you can go and study. So while I enjoy theory, I'm trying to write songs that aren't yet written, which is really hard to do. It's part of the thrill. It's part of the Rubik's Cube for me. It's a puzzle.
That's
I gotta
another
wr't
part of
something.
your DIY, man. You're still
Right.
DIY
You're always
a
looking
song
to do
that's never
something
been
original
written.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And so if I learn the theory, the tools, and then kind of don't look directly at how other people implement their songs with those tools, but try to figure out how can I do it, then I might come up with my own implementations. And in the end, it's a real simple, stupid formula with all that setup. All I do is, as I'm playing, I'll have a melody that's starting to come into my head.
I was going to ask you.
And I'm like, I don't know what chord will work with this. And I'm not going to predict it or follow a pattern indicated by songwriting craft where you're supposed to go.
Beautiful.
Instead, I'll experiment. just by ear, I'll play all over the place. I'll play diminished chords or, a bunch of weird jazz chords or something in a minor and completely different key. And then sometimes I'll be like, that melody still works if I come down a half step, and then that fucking weird minor suddenly works. And that's weird. That's weird, but it sounds cool. And next thing you know, I found the spot in the lyrics where that could work, and off I go to the next section. And a few times here and there, it comes out with a song that is, even to me, just not really much like anything I ever heard before. And then it's like, oh, so satisfying. Because trying to be a nonconformist is hard in a world where you share 99.999% of the DNA of everyone around you. It's very difficult.
Yeah, man. It's interesting on so many levels because there are so many things that can draw you into your all songs.
Thank you.
The harmonies can, the chord progressions can, the melody lines, which I'm glad you answered. I was going to ask you if your melody in your head leads to those chord choices.
Yeah.
Which I think
makes a lot of sense.
It makes a ton of sense.
It'd be crazy to write, I feel like, to the chord changes. At least I could never write to funky changes. That way would be really hard. But if I had the melody and then find them, that makes a lot of sense.
But the melody goes with the words in a way that for me, I've learned not to kind of paint myself in a corner. I have to write the lyrics, and I keep a little file on my phone where I just scribble shit. And every now and then something suddenly starts to develop. And I'll do that with no guitar in my hand so that I have a big pile of crap to draw from. Once I start writing the song, though, I've learned to be very careful to put the antenna out into the ether and wait for the muse to send some amazing melody or chord progression or something. But also don't rush ahead with the lyrics, because you'll end up with something that's forcing the melody to be a certain way. It has a certain number of bars or a certain number of syllables. And now everything has to, in the end, it all has to come together. So if you go too far on the lyrics before you've got your melody and your progression, or too far on the melody and progression, now you have to write lyrics that fit that. So either going too far in any direction enslaves the next piece of it to that thing. And so I've tried to get better and better at doing it all, a little here, a little there, a little here, like I seesaw back and forth. And even then, it feels like every 10th song is the good one. I just got to plow through the next 9 mediocre ones.
When you write those lyrics down, you have that melody in your head. And I'm interested to hear you.
I don't necessarily have a melody in my head when I'm writing them down.
Well, once you start to build that,
once I start the real construction, it's about 2 days to 3 days.
Without picking up a guitar, right? You're just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you turn the page, come back to that song a year later, see the words, and know that song?
No.
Okay.
No, I might not even be able to the next day. And so I take little voice memos on my phone. And often, because I took the time to do that, I never have to listen to them again.
Yeah.
But sure as shit, if I don't, that'll be the one I cannot.
I feel you. I'm bad about I've written so many great songs that I just never captured, and they're gone. And like you can never remember them the same, no matter how hard you try sometimes.
But also, I'm getting better at that. The more I write, the more I'll remember that, and I really will.
Do you forgive yourself?
It depends on how good the song was, I guess. Right. If it was a good song and I missed it, it hurts. To be like, damn, that was like a great line and it's just gone. Sometimes a line it's
fucking brutal.
It's hard. It's hard. Yeah, if you really had like a perfectly worded line and then it slips your mind, sometimes you'll never quite get that same thing for me. And
with my voice notes and my written notes and the way I approach it all in a burst of 2 days, maybe 3 days, I've created a structure like a giant net to catch whatever's trying to land in it so I don't lose any of it. And I was re-listening to that stuff we did with Ian the other night. And
Ian Thomas, incredible dobro player, Satchel's Pawn Shop, and everything's. We can't believe we get to play with him sometimes.
Yeah, he's been showing up lately to learn some songs. So
watch out.
Stay tuned. Right?
Imagine. It's like, man, this is some interesting stuff here.
But, in Tumbleweeds, the bridge, and we got through that, and he was like, spell that shit out again. And so we did, and I was singing the melody real slow and showing how the chords wrapped around it. And he said, that's beautiful. I said, it's glorious, isn't it? I said, I had nothing to do with that. An angel delivered that to me one night as I was writing this song. So when I said earlier, you stick the antenna out, it's like something that you don't want to look at it directly. It'll go away. You don't want to think too hard about the idea. It'll slip out of your grasp. And there are moments every 10th song
I
or so.
see it in your eyes. I mean, you know exactly what's
I
going on.
do. I
And
really
then
where
enjoy
somebody
that.
speaks
Yeah.
and tells you, and you're just all you can do is just document it. And it's like I didn't even create that; it came from
Yeah,
somewhere.
sometimes it just comes to you. It's been so interesting to listen to you talk. Like I think this is my 9th episode in here, and you've been the most interesting songwriter that we. You ask this question kind of every time about because we
always
both
want to
write
know
songs.
the process.
Yeah,
always
and you're
wanna know
very
the
very
process is the-
interesting. It's so cool, and
It's always unique, isn't it?
It is. It is all, and you're as unique as anybody with it. I really.
Thanks.
Oh,
it's
for sure.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like you all are awesome, and it's. I love learning how people write because everybody's different with it, and it's fun. It's fun to see how other people do it and try to pick up the things that other people do that I might want to try. So yeah,
Cool. I love that you guys are doing this. Very few people want to talk about this. Like,
This is such
My
a
wife
gift
doesn't,
that
you know,
we
so.
get to sit here. More
I feel ya.
recently,
well,
she's you know, for the first time recently, you know, Cindy's been singing the songs in the back of the car.
she is. She's like, you need to play more with Ian, is what she said.
highlight
underscore.
She knows quality when she hears it.
Hey man, we got to do the questions, buddy.
Yeah,
it's
we-
time.
yeah,
Time
it's
to
time to
grab
grab
some
some
questions.
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 Scared.
We'll start
All
with.
right, I'm going to refill my bourbon.
Yeah,
while
probably
you ask me
might as well.
Because now that I don't have to play anymore, I'm going to.
Get fucked up.
I don't have to drive.
I
either.
feel you.
So,
Oh, even better.
You driving? Who's driving? Oh, you're good.
he's our terrible
fine.
roadie. He doesn't do anything.
Just shows up.
Yeah,
I moved the cart.
you did.
Out to
You did.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did your job.
What balcony?
Well done.
There's a balcony out there. There's a crowd of people waiting for our
There's about
autographs.
200 or 300 people
It's
out
the
there.
breezeway.
Bring the Sharpie.
We'll find one somewhere.
All right, we'll get some questions here. The first question, just tell us a non-music thing about you that you want to share. It doesn't have to be, it can be like a fun fact or something, another hobby you like, or just anything interesting that you feel like you. I know this is everyone's least favorite question is share a fun fact, but if you have one.
Gregg's loaded with them.
Got all the fun facts.
Go for it.
One of my dearest friends in the entire world happens to be here in the studio with me right now.
Aw.
Tom Byer, who's the best man at my wedding.
Yeah.
And I just celebrated my 27th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Not with Tom.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, kind of with Tom. I mean, he
Yeah,
was
well,
there.
he was
here now.
Yeah,
It is kind of with Tom.
Yeah.
It is. 'Cause, I mean, you know, best man. Yeah. Congratulations on your all's.
Yeah, big anniversary to you all.
Yeah,
absolutely.
best man ever.
So, are there any stories you can't tell us on the podcast about the bachelor party? Y'all go have too much fun drinking or anything? That's all.
It was very tame. There were like, you know, belly dancers, and they brought me. I'm from New York, and went all over New York. It was fucking fantastic. And there's this incredible Russian baths on 10th Street in New York, which is old school. Like, I don't know when it started, but like early 1900s. And I've been going there for a while. My brothers would bring me. I'm the youngest of five. I have 4 siblings, 3 brothers and a sister, and they'd bring me there all my life. But somehow one of my dear close friends knew that, so that was a part of the evening. And when we went there, they set me up with the big, giant Russian woman who massages you by beating the shit out of you with fucking oak branches.
Yeah.
So I
It's a
remember
party.
that really, really
You
well.
want
And-
rub? Come here. I'll beat you.
it was great.
Comrade.
The fucked up thing that happened with the belly dancer. Remember?
No.
She was doing a thing with a candle, and someone who was not part of our party came and blew her candle out in the middle of her tricks.
No, I don't remember
We
that.
almost beat him up. It was weird.
Yeah, you can't do that.
We almost beat him up.
Yes, we did.
Okay, that
There was
seems
only one of him and like 7 of us.
okay. We were like, "Do you know Proust?"
We were showing him how
Because Bruce would not have approved of that. Yeah.
so weird.
I don't remember that. Thank you for reminding me. We did all kinds of stuff, and we started off at this place, belly dancers, no strippers. We ended up at
Racetrack.
a racetrack, Marmont, in New Jersey. So we took fancy cars and got into a what do you call the boat that goes across the river? A ferry, and then we came back, and then we ended up, I think, back at the same bar in the Lower East Side where the belly dancers were. They weren't anyway. It was
No more
fucking.
belly.
It was a great night. There are some other things that I will not tell you about
No.
that I've experienced with Tom Byer.
No.
Yeah, that's for yeah.
We don't want to hear it,
Another
man. We
time.
don't want to. Yeah, we don't want to put that out there, do we?
You don't.
The Legend of Tom Byer, episode 191.
Most of you have seen Tom Byer, by the way, on television in one way, shape, or form. He's an actor in Los Angeles and is those parts.
You got
You know,
all the parts.
Yeah. You'll
first scene and do something weird.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I even said to you earlier tonight, I was like, I think I've seen you somewhere before.
You have.
Did you watch the porn channel?
Yeah.
He's
like-
the guy with the mustache.
I was like, are you the guy that was at the shenanigans the other night with the guitar? And he had just told me he doesn't play guitar, but I bet
You
I've
didn't
seen
believe
you.
him. He acts like he plays one though.
Well, I think I've seen him in a film somewhere. All right. So what is interesting about
Yeah,
Interesting
non-music
about you.
fact about you.
Well, I mentioned I was in the Navy.
Oh yeah.
And when I was in the Navy, I was like an apprentice engineer, just like no particular schooling on any one subject. Learned about boilers and motors and pumps and just general shipboard propulsion systems. And then I got out to a ship and I did a bunch of stuff with boilers and gas turbine jet engines, mostly just moving heavy things because when you're uneducated, people are like,
Pick that up.
pick that, yeah. Pick that thing up, move it over there. Exactly. But I watched and learned. And at some point, I got to the level where they were like, okay, you got to have a pad of paper in your pocket at all times. And when anybody senior to you comes around and tells you, get your pen and your paper, and right now in front of me, diagram the port side lube oil system. You're like, okay, and they taught me these little symbols and all the routing of how lube oil went from the place to the other place and moved around the pumps and the blah, blah, blah. And so I had to, all these different pneumatic and hydraulic and other fluid systems, basically. And so as I got pretty good at that, and they were like, hey, this fella has
There's
problems.
a really good joke there. I don't know what it is.
But I really didn't give a shit. I just wanted to get out of the Navy. And so I disappointed them all. But I learned a bunch of stuff about how things, especially fluid things, move
How to
around.
lube stuff is what it sounds like.
Yeah, how to make decisions on paper that look like forks and diagrams, right? Decision trees. And what happens when you decide to go left instead of go right? Where does it go? What happens? And all of this came back to me years later as I started getting into like analysis for software projects and stuff like that because the internet happened. And
You guys know that?
And I had,
What is this thing called?
It was really important to a young man like me who had no degree in anything and was printing t-shirts for 9 straight years in sweaty shops and wanted a way into the white collar world. And it's like, nobody can spell HTML yet. I can spell HTML. HTML for dummies right here. It was made for anybody who's willing to pick it up and look at it and go get a job and claim they could do it, and because nobody could do it. And so I just DIY'd and faked my way into things, and pretty quickly became the analytical person on the team because I still wasn't very good at HTML, but I could draw a big site map or plan out what should happen if you do this and that, and I realized, I'm drawing the same diagrams they taught me to draw in the Navy. And the more decades have gone by, now I've got a 30-some year career in technology and product management and work for Fortune 50 companies, and it's all fakery. I just talk. I talk a lot, talk a good game.
He's still smarter than everybody who he works with.
No, I'm not.
I was waiting for the end of the
story.
story. And then I was doing the HTML, and then I created Bitcoin. Yeah,
No, I didn't.
I'm waiting.
I wish I did any of those things. But what I did do is I figured out how to talk for a living. And but also I still to this day draw pictures. And what I began to realize, the more I worked with system architects and engineers, I was like, data's a fluid. It's just like steam or water or oil or fuel or any of these other things. And so I started treating data, because I was just trying to apply something I'd learned about to something I don't know shit about. But it works. It works really well. So one of the things that I've figured out is that data is a fluid in my own weird way of looking at the world. And everything I do now has in my work life, but also bleeds over into songwriting and everything else. There's a certain logical structure. And now my latest thing, now that I'm about to turn 60, getting near the end game, you got to figure out like what's the last good idea you'll have. And it's like to recognize that all that's bullshit and that really everything is just this big smeared out mush. And the way we segment and dissect everything into categories and talk about movements of data, and all this stuff is just a pattern we impose upon it, and it's great. It works. It can help you write songs. It can help you figure out the way a naval vessel should move through the water. It can help you build software. But you
My
can also
luckiest motherfucker around her way.
but you can also, I think, this is where I'm trying to go next, is you can remind yourself and the people you work with that, that's a shared fiction we all agree to. And we can change the rules and we can change the way we look at it. And as soon as you spot some part of your own structure that's actually hindering instead of helping things, whether it's songwriting or building software or whatever, you should point to it. And don't stick to the rules because they're all fake. And so I'm trying to reach the finish line the way I started, where the world's just this massively confusing place full of mush. That's my big goal.
Well, my
brain-
brain's
Get rid of
mush
all
right
the
now, dude.
structure.
Yeah, my
What the
brain is
damn?
like just had like an aneurysm trying to, like what you're saying is being a 22-year-old. Might I just say, fucking eye-opening.
Fucking
is
weird
what it
old
is.
dude.
No,
Thanks,
no.
man.
It all makes sense because you have the basic structure of things.
Yeah.
But because of the basic structure of things, it basically creates a structure of anarchy. And because of that structure of anarchy, you then go back and figure out that, oh, well, it's all a big circle. It's all a big cycle
you trying
that
to-
I feel like
continuously
it's a
goes over and
cycle.
over.
You
It's a
trying to
circle.
sum that up?
I'm trying
to.
Yeah, I don't even know what I
Braver
said,
than
but it was
me,
close
sir.
to that. I
Yeah.
like that. That's good.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah, I
don't even know if
think
we
it's
should ask
weird,
you
but I think the more you learn about any one thing, if you can apply it to everything else somehow, some way, the more the weird tapestry of reality we live in starts to become that tapestry, you know. And songwriting is just a piece of that to me. It's like it's a puzzle.
That's wild, man. Your brain works in a mysterious way, sir.
Well,
and I dig it.
thank you.
Big time. Yeah, it's really, really
We're all
interesting.
lucky to know you.
It's cool to get
God,
to
thank you.
listen
I
to you
feel
talk.
so lucky to be here. I can't tell you.
man.
You know, you spend
Jeez.
your whole life being the weird nerd person, and I think most musicians, honestly, really are. Even if they come off real normal, there's a part of them that drives them to this creativity.
They're a nerd, autistic, like on the spectrum type of, most of
My
them.
favorite people.
Exactly. Of course.
They didn't have these diagnoses or treatments when I was a kid in the
No.
1960s.
Oh.
But if they did, they'd have had me pegged real
for
early
sure.
on.
I mean,
you know,
think about it. Yeah, put me on a stage in front of as many people in the world, but one-on-one, it gets real tough sometimes, or in a room full.
and even
I
being
think
on
that's
stage,
most
why would you
people.
want to do that? Like, what kind of
That's crazy.
I say that all the time. I say you
Narcissistic,
have to
huh?
be something a little bit off to even want to do that, like
Yeah.
a little bit quirky to just.
it's like a
get up in front of
masochistic
people.
urge to
Hey,
put
y'all listen
yourself
to
out
this
there.
stuff.
You know,
I wrote.
They
Yeah,
say that,
yeah.
every time you walk on stage, you have the same kind of adrenaline rush as if you just got hit by a car.
yes,
I've been
Yes.
hit by a car and
Stage is
people
better.
say that.
it's
I've been
less
hit-
bruising,
I've been
but
hit
it
by
is a
stage,
thrill.
oddly enough.
Yeah, so is that bullshit or?
I don't know. I mean, it is a thrill. I don't
It
know.
probably
I mean,
just comes down to endorphins and thrill
Yeah.
seeking, honestly. But that's okay.
I would
That's what-
definitely recommend getting on a stage before getting hit by a car.
absolutely agree with that.
How'd that go, man? You okay?
Yeah. I was a little drunk down in Auburn, and I went across the crosswalk without looking and got just smashed by an
Good thing you were
SUV.
drunk, man.
Yeah.
Probably saved your life. Sometimes being drunk saves your life.
Sometimes,
That's our PSA for the day.
yeah, mostly not.
All right, question number
Yeah,
2.
question 2. Tell us about like a nightmare gig or something funny or noteworthy. And it could be like a combined story if it's something like the band has done or you all individually. Just something.
I don't think
Just
we have
something
enough
fun.
history for any of that.
Well, yeah. All right, tell us about a nightmare basement practice then. No, I'm sure that's never happened.
I mean, a nightmare gig, the two of us. What are you talking about? Yes, we fucking had one.
All right, let's hear it.
We don't want to tell tales or anything, but
You don't have
we,
to name drop too
Yeah,
much.
we had a
Yeah.
first gig that was, I don't know.
So the first show that we did as TVLO was with 5 people. And right after that gig, there were 3 people.
That says plenty. You don't have to say anything. Well, that good, huh?
Well, it turned into something that honestly I have to say I think several band members were just trying to salvage a situation that I was creating because I was so bad. and then their salvaging probably wasn't really helping any.
He's a
thingy.
sweet man. Isn't he?
I was.
He's a genius and he's a sweetheart.
I really couldn't hear a thing on
I love Gregg's
stage,
reactions.
like
He's
at
like-
all. Like so, and I play. I played in a lot of bands when I was in college back in the day. Been on a lot of stages. This was maybe the worst on stage sound ever. I couldn't hear anything.
Oh, one of those fun ones. Huh?
Yeah, and I didn't know my own songs.
That's
And
true.
I did not. I mean, you can't. I mean,
It was a terrible performance
yeah.
from everybody.
Yes.
But less is more when you don't know what the fuck is going
Yeah,
on.
right.
Stop
Yeah.
playing.
But
Yeah,
that is
totally.
not the TVLO way. We piled on more
Turn it up.
more parts, more people on top of this thing that Dan has no idea what he was doing. And yeah, it became clear to me halfway through that this was
It was so great too.
This was
like
a gig
afterwards,
in my infamy.
before we had talked, he was like, "So, how did that go?" And I was like,
because I'm thinking
really, really bad. Like that is not ever going to happen again. I promise you, I will take care of all of it.
yeah, and somehow as Gregg will do, he takes care of shit. He's I have a few minders in my life that just keep watch over me and make sure I don't get, run over or whatever, or live under a bridge. My wife's one of them. Gregg's one of them. And I think, so, and I will put a toast out there to all the people who have, whether it's, I don't know what it is I have, some spectrumy thing or ADHD or something, but for all of, it's a lot of things, but for all of us who kind of struggle to make sense of it all, here's to all the people who love us and watch over us
There
and just
we go.
keep it all
Cheers.
rolling and make us happy, right?
Cheers to that.
Yeah. Gregg's one of those people for me. So I just have to toast an extra toast that direction.
Yeah, I don't
that toast.
talk to Dan about when he's available. I
He
talk
talks
to
to my
Cindy.
wife. Because I'm like, I don't know. That's a month, right? What that word, that June.
June, that
there's
word.
12 of them. I know there's 12. Yeah, no, I get really lost in weird things. That's why I draw pictures. That's why I draw it all out, because I can't hold it in my head. But once I draw it out, I can hold it in my head. So you figure
It's really interesting.
coping mechanisms.
That's
right?
straight up ADHD.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the exact same
Yeah.
thing.
See, you find a way to do it.
Yep, and
then
I'm a
you do that.
mechanical person too, so it's like I have to sit there and diagram it all out and
Yeah,
figure it all
yeah,
out
yeah.
before trying
That's right.
to
Do what
move
works.
on.
Don't let anybody dissuade you. Find
Okay.
people who love you and watch your back, and then do what works for you, and you'll get through it all. Trust
There
me.
you go.
I'm lucky because two of them are sitting here,
There
one
you
is
go.
sitting in the other room.
Yes, we cherish
and-
each other.
Yes, absolutely.
There's 3 more to your cohort right here.
Mhm.
That's right.
We got your back. Absolutely.
All right. One last question.
Okay.
Tell us the last local artist you listened to.
Ooh.
So I love Shadwick Wild's new
Oh
record,
my
Forever
gosh,
Home.
Yeah.
So good.
So I did listen to that today.
I tell you what, man. He during the pandemic, he did a over the internet did this thing with us when we first were trying to figure out what the hell we were going to do because everything was shut down. We had to cancel all the guests because fear, not knowing what the hell was going on, and he did a remote and played some of that stuff like Gardner Song, and I mean, I listened to that stuff. I'm telling you, for 2 months before anybody else ever heard it. I was just, it was so good. He's magical. With,
He's super extra.
extra. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the guitars turned out. I'll never get over him playing backwards and upside down. That'll always
He
blow
plays
my
it
mind.
upside down and backwards and inside out and sideways.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
got his band is awesome. I mean, dude, good record. Good record.
Awesome.
All right. So I will. Everyone
They're
will
now
accuse
local.
everyone will accuse me later of just taking the chance to make a plug, but it's literally the answer to your question. The last local act I saw, not just listened to, but saw, was Anemic Royalty.
All right.
Greg's 2 sons.
Amazing.
Yep, they're amazing. They never fail to pack a house with beautiful young people hurling their bodies in absolutely catastrophic manner that would break my hip at this stage of my life. And the energy, the power, the emotion, the heart, the guts that
what
these
it's about,
kids
man.
have. Oh, holy crikey, man, they are the bee's knees. They are explosive. And they're the real deal. And
Get on fucking board, everybody.
Great band.
come see Anemic Royalty. And I know it's a shameless plug, but it's the honest answer. That's
what we
and
want.
I
We
saw
don't
them
care.
at Zanzibar just right before we started. I went the next weekend. I guess we were at Kaiju. And I don't get out much. You see, I'm the hermit in the basement writing fucking weird songs. And Gregg's like, "Come with me," and I'm like, "Where are we going?" I don't even ask anymore. I just go with him. You know.
Now you go, Cindy. Can I go?
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
You go, okay.
I already cleared it with
He
her.
already- he will have already asked her. Yeah.
It's
No.
really why I flew from Los Angeles.
Yeah. Greg's our
Yeah,
leader.
so they there was a Halloween-ageddon that
Yeah.
Belushi was headlining,
Oh, yeah.
and Nemec and Belushi are buddies. Yeah, and so he coordinated his trip out. He's like,
Yeah,
"Well, I can
perfect.
come sometime in October,
Yeah.
but is Anemic Royalty playing anytime?" I'm like, "Oh, it just so happens."
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to be that because
Slayed.
yeah, they did. And I don't get out that much. And when I do, it's often seeing them or other bands that are spin-offs in a way. Like they remind me when I was in college and we all played with each other and we all had bands
Yeah.
and then side bands and then
Still get a lot
side
of
bands.
that.
Yeah, you know how that goes. And so I know them and all those kids are fantastic. And it's like, oh, I would be like that. So the reductionism you see tonight where we bring just the acoustic is me trying to kind of grapple with what kind of ensemble suits this music. Because I come from a school of thought where, well, I say school of thought, that's like me trying to be like,
You
I'm
dropped
not the
out
only
of
one
that
who thinks
school,
this.
yeah.
I don't think I'm the only one that thinks this, but I think a good song is a good song. You can make it a polka, right? You could make it a heavy metal tune.
I don't know what's happening right now.
You could. I'm turning TVLO into a polka band.
I think that's what I heard.
I mean,
You heard it
I'm
here,
gonna,
folks.
I have to bring
Folks,
the
is
banjo
it-
back.
Yeah, right.
We also
Yeah,
need
you were
a-
banjo.
I think
to
we need
begin
an
with.
accordion
That's right.
in there. Yeah, somewhere's gotta
But
have
you
an
know what
accordion.
I'm saying? You can
Right.
do it. If a good
Banjo's a
song is a
stupid
good song,
fuck.
you can arrange it any way you like, and it'll still be a good song, right? And that's true. I still believe it. But at the same time, I'm like I only do what I do, and if I'm trying to deliver the music in the way that I'm showcasing what I'm capable of, not something I'm not really capable of, then electric guitar is maybe not my best instrument. I'm a tone chaser. I've got a huge pedal board and all that. You know, I got good sounds. I do, but it doesn't make me a great player. so I can hold down the rhythm, but I think the acoustic is it's where I write almost all of them.
Yeah.
It's like how they sound natural.
Yeah, so he was, cogitating about whether or not
That
he played-
guitar, that
he
new
played
guitar.
this really beautiful guitar. It's silver
Oh,
strings.
I was
and
ate
like,
up with it.
"Oh," I'm like, go
Yeah,
buy it
go buy it.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I have to sell it. I'm like, fucking go buy it right now.
And can I share, because I don't know if it's going to make the editing cut from earlier when we were chatting, you like
knew.
we got in here and these guys, oh, you got a Ferk.
Right, you fucking
You got a
knew.
Ferk guitar. I was
Nerds,
like,
bunch of
yes,
room full of
motherfuckers, I
nerds.
did. I got a Ferk guitar. That's right, because nobody's heard of them, right? And so I was so
you have something
gratified
to
that you
say?
guys brought that up. Thank you.
We're like,
Yeah.
Dan.
That's a good sounding guitar right there.
Yeah, right?
That's right. So anyway, thank you all for that recognition.
Oh, yeah,
so
man.
yeah, I bought a new guitar. It's
We're
not
guitar
cheap.
nerds,
It's stupidly expensive. I have to sell a bunch of everything. You guys want to buy like a Fender Twin? I got
Absolutely.
a really good old one.
Talking to the camera. It's not us.
What,
We've got too much
Anybody
stuff.
want to buy some gear? I'm trying to fund that fucker over there.
We'll talk later.
Yeah,
We'll talk
all
later.
right, there you go. But yeah, I'm trying to find the voice of the ensemble.
22-year-olds can lift it still.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like it's glued to the floor. It's got magnets on the bottom or
I'll
something.
tell you what
Yeah.
he doesn't need is any more gear in his house.
Oh,
He's
Oh,
one of
no,
those guys.
wrong.
Oh, wait.
Oh, sir, you have
What
not
kind of enabler
seen
are you?
You have not
It's bad.
seen the
It's bad.
Do you have a Fender Twin?
Yeah.
no.
Well, there you
No,
go.
I have a Fender Super.
Then you don't have enough
Yeah.
stuff.
You don't have a twin.
Oh, well, I guess
I
you
know.
need that then.
And it also depends on the year
He's got a
too, because
Super.
I have a 78 Super.
he has a Fender Subaru.
Yeah.
He has a
That's
Fender
real close.
from
I got a
Subaru.
79 ultra linear Fender Twin, 135 watt.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
You're talking my language.
I know.
All right, so guys,
That time.
it is that time to kind of wrap up. Before we do,
Thank you so
I do have one
much.
more question.
Yeah.
Probably since you write lyrics the most, probably more for you, Dan. Do you listen to a bunch of music outside of, just do you spend much time listening to other music?
Not as much as I should. I'm very, very self-absorbed. I tinker in my own studio with my own mixes, and I nerd out over, that July, we were on fire in July, and August was a little slump on those two songs, but in July, so I go through my own material. It's like terrible. But I am an old deadhead, so I'm constantly in the car driving one place or another. Well, I'm not really. Cindy drives everywhere.
This Cindy,
Thank goodness.
Yeah, she's keeps my world intact.
You have no idea.
But when I'm driving around, I'll listen to The Dead. I'll listen to Anemic Royalty. I love their material. I will absolutely put on some, especially on Saturday mornings, I'll put on some 91.9 because they will constantly expose me to new stuff. Mm-hmm. I just came back from the Moonshiners Ball Festival where I got to hear some groups that I'd never heard of, several of which just floored me. With their ability, it's like listening to a studio recording. Like, how can people be that good live?
I want to add one thing.
Yeah.
We've been going to the Big Ears Festival.
Yes.
This will be the 7th year in a row.
Seventh year in a row.
Been going, and that totally expands your mind. If you're not familiar
So
with
eclectic.
Big Ears down in Knoxville, Tennessee, and you're a music fan, and you want to listen to things that you didn't realize actually existed at all, and you're wondering, like, where do these people play the rest of the year?
That's what.
Go to the Big Ears.
Yeah, go to Big Ears.
Ashley Capps
it's incredible.
invented Bonnaroo and all those other festivals so that he could create Big Ears for himself.
Yeah, like you'll see an act there that when you Google them, they're like, "Oh, this won a Pulitzer Prize."
You need to have 3
That's some highbrow
PhDs also
shit.
in order to buy a ticket.
Right? Yeah. That's some highbrow shit. So yeah, wonderful stuff. And so I get inspiration from all those, and it reminds me of how how varied and amazing and different the world out there is for everybody else.
Yeah.
But you come back to your own music and nerd out on it some more, and you say, "Hey, I got my own little corner of this universe," and it connects you, and it's great. So yeah, I don't listen to as much as other stuff as I should, but I definitely do, and it's always a connection point that I cherish. Yeah.
So I'd like to say just one other thing. So TVLO is an acronym, and you can make it up, but sometimes it's been called the very loving or very lovely openers, and we'd very lovely love to open for Earl Bowman.
Oh, anytime.
Yes.
We'll set something up for sure.
That's a plug for us. But just to make sure we make it clear, that is not the only acronym. And I think at Moonshiners, several people put forth some good. They're like
very good. This is new to me too.
The velocity lobotomization officers, or I don't know. There's a lot.
That's most accurate so far.
There's a lot of things that could be TVLO, and it literally stands for absolutely nothing. So this is the draw, folks. If you don't like the melodies, you don't like the harmonies, you don't like the quirky words,
then we don't want to talk to you.
No, just come on in and make up what the fuck does TVLO stand for. And if you nail it, I'm going to give you
a t-shirt. Free t-shirt.
We don't have t-shirts yet, but we're going to get some.
But I'm going to print
one.
I'm going to dust off my shirt printing skills.
9 years, man. You've got a plenty.
I will carve it in your fucking flesh.
All right, guys. But for everybody listening and watching,
there it is.
Where can we find you?
Thanks for the bourbon.
I mean, the rye. Man, we're here for you. All right, tell our listeners where they can find you, where they can listen to your music. If you got any gigs coming up, what do you got coming up in the future?
We don't have any gigs booked right now unless
Earl.
The very
Earl's
openers.
That's right.
Ready. Come on, Earl. Bring it.
Did you book one yet? There's some ideas. We're on all the streaming services for the EP we did like 45 years ago, and it still doesn't sound terrible. But we also have a band camp platform that we've talked about releasing our version of the basement tape stuff, and we have an idea. It's conceptually it's organized, so there'll be more stuff out there.
We might put like 25 songs out there that are all basement recordings.
We're really great at opening, and our friends come and show up because
they do.
They have money.
Yeah, they can afford
Yeah.
to pay for it.
That's what I
when
like
you
to
get
hear.
old, if you have any fans at all, they can at least afford to come see you.
It's the
so,
best.
Yeah.
It's the best. Oh, sweet. I don't have to put you on a list.
Yes.
Thank the Lord. Those
Oh my
days are
God.
over.
You still have to
Fucking list, man.
You still have to put Cindy
You
on the
are
list.
all on the list,
Cindy-
though.
Cindy's
Cindy gets on the list.
Cindy's taking door. What
Yeah,
are you talking about?
Cindy's in charge of it all.
Cindy has paid for entry most of the time and never asked.
So that's why we. Oh, really?
Yeah.
She's.
I mean, I'm not
salty.
kidding. Recently, I'm like,
What?
do not be paying to get in to see us play. You feed me multiple times a week.
Actually, we should pay you to come watch us.
Yeah, my wife's the only person ever on the list. They're like, that's all you want? I'm like, fuck yeah. Everyone
Yeah,
else, if they
what are you
show up,
talking
they can pay. Fuck 'em.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
great.
Absolutely. All right. What about TVLO on everything? Pretty much Instagram. all that?
Yes. So tvlo.band on Instagram. I think we have a Facebook thing, but I don't know because I don't do that.
I'll do Facebook. I'll set that up. I promise.
Dan's
I
going to
swear
set
I
up
will. I'll
Facebook.
set that up.
It'll be
But we have
somewhere on the
Instagram, which
interwebs.
he manages, which
Yeah.
has how many followers now?
Almost 600.
Hey!
But if you all click on it more and make it more than that, that'll be a thing. And I
This
don't know
is-
if that matters at all.
This is
So
the
do it.
fundamental thing. Like Dan uses Facebook and hasn't even created a page and has 0 followers. Gregg uses Instagram, has created a page, has 600 followers. This is exactly the blueprint for the band right
Hell
there.
yeah.
Greg,
We're on the
Greg
right.
takes care of everything.
We're on the up
Is
and up.
600 good?
I will.
It's not bad.
No,
It's
it's
not
not.
bad.
It's not bad.
You're obvious. I mean, we might get
That's-
you up to like 605.
That's kind of what I have.
7
Like
people
six,
in this
700.
space here is much more potent.
That's right.
Yeah, well, let's tell Brad just. Brad,
Love you, Brad.
Yeah, you gotta get these follows up for the guys here.
Might get like a free bag.
Ooh.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
we take it.
Yeah.
An endorsement deal.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
One bag.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm learning more about this from other avenues, so we'll see how I can employ that for TVLO's fame.
But we're on Spotify.
Apple Music,
Yep.
Tidal,
So, yep.
YouTube Music, all the
And
things,
if you
all the streaming
just,
things.
if you just go to YouTube and type in TVLO, you not only will find us, you'll find some weird Swedish thing that I don't even know what it is yet. I keep looking at it, but
There's a German thing
it's
too.
called TV. Yeah, it's called TVLO, and
Yeah,
I love the ambiguity of it all. So
Oh my gosh.
you guys are the greatest.
Hey, but
Yeah.
This
thank
has been
you,
so
thank
fun.
You, thank you. It's
yeah.
been a blast.
Good
man.
talking with you all.
likewise, thank you so much. We love this.
So
Have
we'll
to do
be
it again
back
soon.
tomorrow.
Whenever you guys
Cool.
come back, open
'Cause
it.
we
Maybe
got
just
many
later
more songs.
tonight,
Yeah, see you
honestly.
later.
Hey, I may
guys got any
encourage
food?
before we leave?
Yeah.
Basement tapes, man. Gotta
Basement
do it.
tapes.
gotta
Yes.
do it.
Yeah,
I've
we're gonna
got
do
a
it. We're gonna do
decent
it.
basis.
Dan, let it
close,
go, man. Just
I know.
let it go.
We're gonna let
Release
it
it.
out there. We're
You
gonna
gotta
put it
let
out
it
there.
go.
It's coming. We'll let you guys know. You can tell us how to let the people know.
Well, and then we'll get you back on. We'll
Sweet.
celebrate it.
Thank
Drink
you.
some more bourbon.
Thank you all.
Right on.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.